with Nerdette's Newsstand, and I seen this article today, and I'm like, okay, who is this girl? Who exactly are you? It's from Bounding Into Comics. It says, Marvel Studio, She-Hulk writer Dana Schwartz, and then we're going to talk about the South Park issue and just so many more issues. So, as far as the comics go, which are more my forte, this has been a normal pattern for them. So they don't hire anymore on merit. Just because you are good something doesn't mean that you are going to get a job. Now it's basically come down to political ideology, and maybe not so much feminism as just being female in particular. I did see today that Sweetcast did a really good video about the casting couch when it comes to comic books. And I'm like, wow, this is adding up. This is starting to make a little bit more sense. My naivety is like, oh, it's just because they're girls. Oh, wait, I get it now. So I thought that was particularly good. But this is worrisome. So we all, a long time ago, talked about how at the end of Endgame, going into Phase 4, that Marvel was going to set their standards for not just good entertainment, but more interjection of politics, of gender politics, of stuff like that. And I've seen it happening more and more and more. I did see something yesterday with the Eternals shared the first gay kiss, and it was magical and made everybody on set really, really emotional. Sure it did. Not only that, but I seen that Valkyrie is now just not bi, she is strictly gay. Like, okay, why does it matter? Why do these people care that much? Like, I can't ever say it's crossed my mind, like, does Bruce Wayne ever think about cock? No, never's crossed my mind. Not one time. Anyways, let's talk about this. When I saw the She-Hulk was initially announced, I love She-Hulk. She's one of my favorite Marvel characters, but I've given up on the Marvel comics quite a while ago, actually. I did a whole video talking about why I don't read Marvel anymore. And if you look at stuff like, even out this week, I read Nebula. Like, that's not a girl. That's not a girl. That is simply a flat-chested boy. Like, you get away from real good storytelling, Vita Ali, I'm looking at you. And when you are just hired basically on your identity politics, it gets annoying. So it looks like that is going more and more and more into not only the movies, but the shows. And I was really hoping, like, I really wanted Aubrey Plaza for She-Hulk. There's no way. She's way too pretty. She's just simply way too pretty. She's got too big of a chest. She is way too pretty. Well, this girl is officially nuts. Now, the funny thing is when I was like, I don't know this name. Why don't I know this name? That's because nobody knows this name. Literally nobody. Like, it says American journalist when you go to Google, but, like, her best story is The White Man's Guide to Male Writers of the Western Like, really? That's what you're known for, honey? Like, oh, we've got so many issues going here. So she obviously wasn't hired based on merit. Like, if that was the case, we would see some sort of repertoire that would show us skill and credit and, just exactly how good she was. Like, as far as I can find, and I looked, there was no comic book writing. It was just these really bad novellas like us. So, she's crazy, and I will demonstrate the crazy. And, I just don't understand, like, how can you be offended by South Park? But we'll get into it. In retrospect, it seems impossible to overstate the cultural damage done by South Park, the show that portrayed earnestness as the only sin and taught that mockery is the ultimate inoculation against all criticism. Oh, honey, you are so dumb. Like, cultural damage from South Park. You realize this is a satirical show for entertainment purposes. Like, nobody takes this seriously. I'm not as big of a South Park fan as I am maybe so much Family Guy and American Dad. Like, I'm mildly obsessed, low-key, with American Dad. I love that show. But it's the same concept, right? You can make fun of one thing because you literally mock and make fun of everything. Like, it has to either all be okay or nothing be okay. You can't be so offended. If you are so offended by a show like South Park, what are you going to write? Like, She-Hulk in the comics right now is what a mess. She is a giant mess. She is not the She-Hulk I grew up with, which to me was like the original Deadpool. She broke the fourth wall. She was really funny. And now she's like, my feminism. And like, super manly looking. And I haven't read it in a long time, so I'm not saying that's how it is right now. But from what I've seen, it's bad. But she goes on to say smugness. Oh my God, coming from the most smug woman I've ever read tweets from is not the same as intelligence. Provocation isn't the same as bravery. The lesser of two evils aren't the same. What? What? Like, I can't. She can't be serious. She can't be this upset, and I get it's her right to share her opinion. I do. Guess what, honey? It's also my right to make fun of it. And, well, pretty much the rest of the world, because you look at her comment section, and it is filled with people mocking her because she's offended over South Park. Like, honey, God, go have some real world experience. Like, she's super progressive, though. Like, everything I've seen about her is like troves beyond progressive that I have normally seen. So she does say, to be clear, I don't blame the show itself for much as I do the generation of boys who internalized it into their personalities. So what? Which maybe it isn't the show's fault. Huh? You think? Wow. And then she goes on like to show some tweets of basically people kind of mocking her, which I don't actually have a problem with. I don't think it's necessarily claiming victimhood. She's not like, poor, look at me. She's just showing him. Sometimes I'll show funny little comments from weirdos that make fun of my voice or something like that. So I actually have no problem with this. My point was that South Park seemed to teach that it is always cooler to be reactionary and contrarian, and anyone who criticizes anything is offended. And that the real problem, wonder what okay, so there's a bunch of messages. I don't care. She goes on to say, Matt and Trey are rich white guys. You are white, honey. You are pale, pasty, white, self-awareness. Learn the definition. And they convinced the generation of scared, really give these men some credit. Vulnerable young men that irony will never hurt them. God, the irony in this is unbelievable. The lack of self-awareness is unbelievable. She says, you're right, they mock anything or anyone who cares about anything. And they present mockery as a worthwhile and ideological position, even when it's only stasis. Perfect for two, again, with the rich white guys. Are you jealous or what is up with the attack on white men in this day and age, especially by somebody who should be championing? Like, why are you so against white men? Okay, so she goes on to talk about the two-party system and how it's a mess, and that South Park, yes, South Park should make a solution for it. Right, the show that makes fun of, that has like a literal piece of shit as a character, should help with the two-party system in the government. Come on, you cannot be serious. Like, I'm going through this girl's tweet, and she is crazy. She goes on to mock Republicans about like their ideals on sex. I don't think she's ever had it a day in her life. Like, I'm not even kidding. She says, she quote tweets somebody that says, stunning chart, the share of men under 30 who aren't having sex has nearly tripled in the past decade. And then she goes on to say, have you met most men under 30? Do you realize that, well, I looked it up, you're 26 years old. So that's what they have to deal with. Do you realize why they're not? Like, do you not, you keep talking about irony. But the irony is because they have to put up with crazy women like you that eventually sometimes become red-pilled because of your ridiculousness and inability to find somebody that can care about them. I don't understand. She talks about conservatives are so weird about sex. It's somehow either a magical gift from God directly in the marriage bed, or it is sanitized economic good that must be doled out like vitamins lest men go on murder sprees. Like, she is just completely crazy. I don't understand where this woman got it from. So she goes on, last part I want to talk about, and she says, South Park fans are on my Instagram trying to be mean thing about the selfie, but like, it looks pretty good. Like, I'm not saying you're ugly, honey, but I'm just saying, like, you can't compare to me in the nicest way possible. You're a 4. I mean, I guess a 4 gets away with this, I guess. I just can't believe Marvel is going this way. I cannot believe how bad it's gotten. It went from the comics now to the movies, now to the shows. Like, it's done. It's done. Let me know what you guys think. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I want to give a huge shout out to my Subscribe Star and Patreons. You guys literally make this channel possible. Black Knight Fool, Brucey, Chris C, Dave Ross, David L, Jeffrey Allen Carnes, Sanjuro, Jeremy Burtz, Joe Bustify, Kato Roan, Magical Exotic Diamonds, Mighty Pauls, Mike Buckner, Robert, Steve Glasker, Timothy French, Ala's Matt Films, Alexander Trapp, Way Else One, and Troy Reiser. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like on the way out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.